By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good evening, race fans. We're back here tonight on a Tuesday night. It's the Bad Company Racing 125 live from Nashville Fairgrounds. I'm joined by good buddy once again in the booth, Mr. Chris Carroll. Chris, how you doing tonight, son?
Doing good. Looking forward to this race, Tanner Mark.
Trying to get everything squared away on my end as practice is just about over for these boys, getting ready to scoot on into qualifying. I want to thank Joshua Rutherford as always for his great rendition of our national anthem. So thank you, Josh, and all the guys from Mullet Music Productions. Told Carol before we went live here tonight, we're kind of winging this, right? Got home a little late, so we're going to do the best we can. Don't have notes. We have basically our head, and luckily Nashville is a home track, so we've done a lot of races here, Carol, in the past. A lot of races. We haven't done many truck races here, though. You've turned a few laps. What are you feeling in the truck and with the truck and the setup and the track?
Well, I felt the truck 2 laps on the tires before the truck comes in. It gets a little loose getting in, gets a little loose in the middle. After that, the truck snugs up a little bit, and it's free off. You might see some guys tonight get on the gas and looping it by themselves on the throttle. So it might be interesting to see you guys racing hard and see if they can keep those trucks straight. I don't know how the tires wear, but I'm guessing they might be building loose out there.
Right on, as looks like we might be heading on into qualifying already. As whoa, look, it changed days. It's bright out here now. We went from nighttime to sunset, so probably the next day. So that tells me right there the track just changed entirely from what they were on. So heading out into qualifying, looks like Daniel Sweat in 07 and Rob Hattenbach is going to be our first two to elect to drive out. Oh no, Brian Voss is in the 55. As before we even get everybody rolling here, let's see if I can get my screen shared for Carol. You sent me a message I haven't looked at yet. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We're trying over here, right? All right, got the screen sharing for Carol there. I want to do one thing really quick before they get into qualifying too deep. Let's pull up the points here because the points are hot and heavy. Tonight is the halfway point, basically. 3 races remaining, 2 after tonight. Daniel Sweat comes in with a 1-point lead over Brandon Elvis. 3rd place is Mr. Brian Voss in the 55. He has a 3-point lead to 2nd place. Justin Coleman has 100 points. He's only 6 points behind Daniel Sweat, who's leading. And then Chris Smith is only 7 points behind. So there's only 7 points separating the top 5 out here tonight. And with only 2 races remaining after tonight's event, it's going to get hot and heavy. It's like Sweat just wrapped up his qualifying performance. Back on board with the 55 here. 55 last time. Oh, he walks it sideways.
There it is, Tanner Mark.
Just loops it over the bumps.
These things are free just a couple of laps in. You only get 2 laps for qualifying, so they're going to be fighting that.
As Brandon Elvis is his first lap around here tonight. I love this track and all the cars we typically run it in, with the super late models, the tour mods, late mod stocks. I love it in NASCAR stuff, but I'm not real familiar with the trucks, as Elvis is going to go P2 on the board, so right off teammate of Bad Company Racing Daniel Sweat, who holds down provisional pole. But I'm not real familiar with the trucks here, right? I've ran Xfinity, but not familiar with the trucks. But I can already tell you the bumps are going to make these trucks a handful.
Yeah, when you go down into the corner, there's no bumps. You get in the middle of the corner, it starts bouncing around, and off of 2, there's a big bump there those guys hit, and it's either going to knock them sideways or shoot them up the track. And you have to run a line either to help or make that bump help you, or you got to run a line above that bump so you don't kill the guy beside you.
As Mr. Brian Zimmerman just went P4 on the board, another really strong contender, usually here at Nashville Fairgrounds, but a whole different animal. I mean, that's going to be the topic of the night, a whole different animal, because we have a lot of guys from Crooked Line Racing coming over here, right? So they've ran this track many times, but they have not ran it in a truck. So now Kyle Wellman, another one that fits in that category in the 42 car, or 42 truck, excuse me, coming around for lap number 1. Going to see what he can do for the number 42 Chevy Silverado here, Carol.
Yeah, I expect Wellman to be sideways up off the corner. He's always hard on the gas, and he's looking like he's going to run a little bit higher line than the other guys here. We'll see if that pays off for him or not coming on down the backstretch.
P7 on the first lap around. See if he can get a little quicker. Now this one he got down to
If you watch this back, don't say I didn't call it.
Right. Now we have Zach Murphy coming around for taking the green flag here for his qualifying effort.
I gotta say, Tanner Meyer, that's my favorite truck out there, right there. That 29 truck looks stout going down the back. It almost looks Canadian, and I'm Canadian, Tanner. So
it does have a Canadian vibe to it. It really does. But it looks good. I do like it. First lap around for Zach Murphy. He's going to go 13th on the board, so not the lap that 29 was hoping for. Maybe was being a little conservative there, trying to save the tires or just try to put down a decent lap. But looks like he's going to try to attack it a little bit hotter this time in the 3 and 4. See if he can get a little bit quicker for his second lap around. He does. He got a little bit quicker, but sadly did not move on the board at all.
Yeah, these guys are fighting that loose truck on throttle, especially in qualifying, man. 2 laps, and it wants to step out as soon as you get on it. And I think a lot of these guys are a little bit afraid of getting on the gas, especially the guys who got in here late and didn't get any practice.
As I believe that's going to be all our takers for qualifying. I don't see anybody else going to roll out. So it looks like Daniel Sweat is going to hold down provisional pole. As let me pull the points back up one more time for my own sake here. Daniel Sweat comes into tonight's event the points leader, but it's going to have Brandon Elvis right there behind him, and Brandon Elvis is only 1 point behind him. So tonight can really make or break a championship season run for you. As let's get this down, and we'll get the starting grid up, and we'll get the grid rocking and rolling. 125 big laps here tonight. As it says Crooked Line Racing, we forgot to fix that. So we heard it there. Daniel Sweat brought it on with the pole for the 07 with an 18.358. Got Brandon Elvis starting to his outside, number 54. Christopher Smith's going to be inside row number 2 with Brian Zimmerman starting outside in P4 with Anthony Rennick finally off in P5.
We've got Brian Voss starting 6 on the outside, and Kyle Wellman, we know him. He's raced with us a lot, and Rob Hadenbach. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Rob starting 8th. Justin Coleman starting 9th. Todd Lamphere in the top 10 here. We've raced a lot with Mitchell Muma. We know who Muma is. He runs pretty good here too. And Chris Sawyer in the 6th row, starting 12th.
And 13th, it's the 29 machine that looked Canadian. The Mobile 1 of Zach Murphy starting 13th. And then Chris Carroll, he's up in the booth with me. Kyle O'Danick, not sure if he's out there or not. I think he is in the 22. Derek Stanley and Ron Judd, or Mr. RJ, as we were informed, is his nickname. Looks like he elected to not qualify as well. So We're gonna be hot and heavy here tonight. I know if I'm one of these guys out here, I want to be one of the ones up front. So let's see if we can pull up the keys to victory here tonight before we get rocking and rolling. So keys to victory, number 1, protect your right rear. We were watching trucks get loose all practice long, and that spilled over into qualifying. We watched a few guys go around. Key to victory number 2, keeping the nose clean. That's pretty pivotal everywhere you go. I mean, keeping the nose clean is going to be one of the most important out here, because in order to finish first you must finish. Key to victory number 3, survive the bumps. That kind of goes hand in hand with the protect your right rear. You see these trucks, they really unload over these bumps, and when that weight shifts like that, it can really upset the handling of these trucks. And then point number 4, 2 tires versus 4 tires. What's going to be the correct call? We're going to find out. Fuel runs about 60 to 65 laps for a race length of 125 laps. So we're here for a good one here tonight, folks. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, hit that thumbs up button. As now we just wait for that pace truck to make the hard left-hand turn on the pit road.
Yeah, Tanner, I think I'm going to add 2 more points to that. I think you got to keep the truck pointed. When I ran practice there, it looks like passing is going to be a premium. It's really hard to pass here. Also, I think track position is going to be key tonight, all night. I think you're not going to see guys running through the field like you do at other tracks if they're fast or they're burning up their stuff, but you got to keep that truck pointed right, other that thing's going to spin out on you.
That's going to be a theme all night, I believe, is making sure you take care of your equipment, take care of your tires, because Nashville, a very abrasive surface, it chews through tires. It can chew through tires if you allow it to. And, I mean, you don't get that truck pointed, you're using a little bit of extra tire. So, green flag is in the hand of Barney Fife Jr. Just going to wait to throw it, and then it's going to be go time. 125 laps here. Daniel Sweat and Elvis both get a great launch. Second row does not.
Yeah, second row here is always tough. You can't see the leader coming to the green flag, and I think Zimmy will make up for that. He knows what he's doing around here. He could drive a dump truck around this place and probably be okay. So he's one to watch. And before we get started here, Tanner, who's your pick for the race tonight?
Man, it's tough to go against Brandon Elvis right now, because he did just power himself from the high side starting P2. But I'm gonna go with the 80 truck, I believe, right here. It should be number 80 of Chris Smith.
You took my pick. I think I'm going to go with Kyle O'Danick. He's starting in the back, but Kyle, he finds his way to the front. He's smart with strategy. I'm going to go with the 22 truck tonight.
With 22, the black and red machine. So we both got black and red picks here. My pick's in 4th. Your pick is in, I don't even see, 12th. But he did not qualify either, right? So Brandon Elvis, though, he was the story of the race last week at Myrtle Beach. He just dominated all week long. Nobody could ever really contend with him. Fast forward to the next night, Wednesday, at LA in the late model stocks. Same song and dance. Just dominated. Can he go 3 for 3 here? We're about to find out, because he put in a pretty impressive move to get by a teammate, Daniel Sweat, who had the preferred line going into turn 1 and 2, right? Elvis made the outside work, but now it looks like Sweat might be running him back down a little bit here. Top 3 kind of got a little breakaway pack of their own.
Daniel Sweat would be another good pick. He's been running really good the last few weeks in the super late models and other leagues, and I ran a lot with him last night at Concord, and he was pretty stout all night. He never took tires. He was running me down at the end of that race.
Looks like he's electing to take a little bit lower line in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, we have a caution on the speedway. It might be Anthony Rennick went around, as Anthony Rennick most definitely went around. Let's see if we can get it brought back on the TrueSimProductions wreckage replay here. Inside the 55 of Voss here. Got Wellman in the 42 right there behind him. Did Wellman get a piece of it? Oh, I don't think any contact there. I think the bumps just kind of.
That's just what we were talking about, getting on the throttle, that car or that truck. It hits the bumps, it gets a little sideways, you get on it too hard, and it snaps real quick.
You see it.
Just got behind on the steering after the bumps, and that's the end of it.
Just unloads, and sadly that wall right there, it comes up quick, and that's going to be a little bit of damage. Shouldn't be significant for that truck, right? Shouldn't. Hopefully. I mean, fingers crossed. Let's see.
I think we're going to be seeing that as a theme tonight, Tanner. These guys, especially early, the first couple laps of the race, these trucks are really, really loose on throttle. So I think we're going to see more of that tonight, and guys are going to have to be really careful. They're trying to beat the guy to the throttle coming up off the corner, and then it snaps. So that's going to be a tough one to combat tonight.
I mean, that's going to be the theme, like you said, of the night, as only 2 trucks elected to bring it down for service here. Anthony Rennick, the cause of the caution, and Chris Sawyer also brought it down. Chris only had a 4-second stop, so that could have been a fuel call there or something. I'm not exactly sure. There's not a whole lot you can do in 4 seconds, but apparently they did something. Still all Mr. Brandon Elvis out front, though.
If you notice, old Zimmerman is hanging out in third, lurking. He's looking to use that chrome bumper, I think, late in the race. He's hanging around there, watching the line of the leaders, and he's going to be there at the end at this place. He's always been good at Nashville and in any type of vehicle we run. So I'm looking for him to try and figure out how to get around those leaders and maybe pull a little strategy to put some pressure on them.
That's going to come back to 2 tires versus 4 tires, because we know it's going to come down to. It will eventually come down to tires here at Nashville, I believe, right? Because 125 laps is just enough laps to really abuse your stuff, right? Especially if they get a long green flag run at that. So it's going to come down to 2 or 4 tires. They can only go 60 laps for fuel under green flag conditions. With these cautions here, that's going to prolong that just a little bit, but there's still going to be a pit stop in here somewhere. Is it going to be a 4-tire call or a 2-tire call?
I was going to ask you before the race. I didn't get a chance. Are they limited to tires, or are they unlimited?
I think they are, but I'm not 100% sure on tire limit.
Yeah, that would dictate what they're going to do in the back and in the front, to be honest, if they have to save a set of tires or whether they're just going to do it on one stop, or, that's going to make the decision for the leaders, especially what they do.
Well, we just brought in our race leader, Mr. Brandon Elvis, really quick, because I honestly forgot. Brandon, do we have tire limits here tonight?
You got 1 set in the pits.
The 1 set
should about 66 laps of fuel in the tank.
10-4, buddy. See the lights are off on the pace card, going back green. Hey, power move on the outside to get the race lead here. Going to try to go back to back. Good luck, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
So they do have 1 set lane. So very similar rules to ours, right? They got 1 set in the pits. Only having 1 set kind of eliminates a huge strategy call, right? It comes down to just 2 or 4 at that point. But everybody will try to pit. Everybody will try to stretch it out as far as they can before they have to take that set, right? Look at Brandon Elvis gets a great launch over Daniel Sweat. But the outside lane, it works here. We've already seen it once. As Sweat's going to try to battle to the outside quarter panel of the 54, but 54 just gets clear. It's just all about the momentum when he got it on the bottom. Looks like Brian Zimmerman has a handful back here with a few trucks.
He's looking a little free up off the corner, too. He's still trying to figure out that throttle, but Daniel Sweat was a foot from stealing that lead up off the corner going in there. He got a really good launch on the restart. We got some racing back behind Zimmerman here. We got Smith and Wellman going at it for 4th and 5th, and it's a melee back behind that.
Looks like Justin Coleman's trying to just basically bide for time right here, just trying to see which lane's going to prevail, and he's going to try to follow him through. Advantage goes to Wellman this time by, but Chris, he is battling on that high side, but it looks like Wellman might get clear as caution's back out on the speedway once again, as it may have been your pick went around there, Carol. I'm not 100% sure, as it most definitely was. Let's see what happens here, though. It says between him and Anthony Rennick in a 22. Oh, 22 wrecks back there. Or Anthony Rennick wrecked back there.
Two separate incidents.
Yeah, you got two incidents, but look at the hard contact right here. That's just a product of low brake bias right there. Gets on the brakes a little bit. Will hops it down in there. Tries to correct it, and
oh, that's a hospital trip if we're not missing.
That's a tough lick right there. And I mean, I think another one took a pretty rough lick back here. Maybe he didn't. Look like he got out in time. So got loose there off turn 4. Trying to get underneath Stanley, I believe, right there in front of him. Not able to. Comes over the bump. Truck unloads, and around she goes.
Two separate incidents there. Who knows what caused the caution, but I think my pick might have died. I think we're taking him to the hospital, Tanner. I think you might have won already.
I mean, the worst thing about that is he had to tow, right? So naturally he's going to lose a few laps right here. Just waiting because he's towing. He's still on pit road, right? And they're clicking laps off. Luckily for him, it's under caution, but was
That's
not
a
able to roll.
tough break for O'Danick there. He's a perennial contender in every series I see him in, and he's a pretty clean driver, man. He knows how to get it done, and just made a mistake getting down into the corner. And I learned driving these trucks around in practice. When they get out of shape, you got problems. It's not real easy to see or save it. You got to be all over that wheel and all over the brake pedals, and it's tough. They slide and then they hit the bumps, and it gets really difficult to save that truck.
Hey, that one was wild. It was like as soon as he touched the brakes, boom, she was gone, right? Just, I mean, that tells me right there they're running some pretty low brake bias, right? Trying to attack the corners as hard as they can. But I mean, you walk a fine line. You're playing Russian roulette, as I like to call it.
You take that low brake bias across those bumps, and then it's not easy to catch that truck. It's a recipe for disaster. And then not only that, then you get back to the throttle and it breaks loose. So you got to really, you got to be up on the wheel. It's the driver's track tonight in these trucks.
It's funny to hear that, right? Because we just saw it. They're loose in, they're loose off, but the topic that we heard all night was tight in the center. That is the worst type of handling condition any driver can face, right? Is a tight, loose truck, because you're tight, you're putting so much wheel into it, and before you know it, boom, all that wheel you got into it, it grabs eventually, right? But when it does grab, around she goes, right? So it's a very, very, very tough condition to try to race through. And that's where the whole driver's mentality comes in at, right there, most definitely.
Well, I think too, when you feel that in the truck, all these guys have felt it. They're 20 laps in. They know what that truck's doing. They don't like it. I mean, some guys deal with it better than others, but it's a driver's track out there, and patience and racecraft is what's going to win that race. I mean, you gotta take what the truck gives you instead of trying to force it. And we're going to find out who knows how to do that.
Sweat did not get the launch he needed right then. Wellman got a great launch. Unfortunately, he just launched into the back of 07, was shoving 07 the whole way down the front stretch. Watch them trucks as they just go over the bumps. But Brandon Elvis said it perfectly with these trucks last week at Myrtle Beach. He said these trucks are not built for tracks like these anymore, right? They're built for tracks like Charlotte or Kansas. They're not your short track style car anymore, style truck anymore. So bringing them out here to a track like Nashville, yes, it's a little bigger, short track, but it's still a short track at heart, right? It drives like a short track still to this day. I mean, it's a handful trying to get these trucks right here. Wellman make a pass on the high side. Zimmerman's going to lose a few spots here. Got loose. We got to go back and see what happened to Zimmy there. Just walked the dog sideways underneath teammate Kyle Wellman right there.
Just what we were talking about, a little bit of a bump. Look at that thing snap. It is violent.
He's still trying to save it right there, folks. Like going
that
down.
was a great save. That's an underrated save right there.
Going down the apron like that was a heads-up move by him, right? He gave himself the most position possible, like to try to save that truck, right? The most room. And luckily, everybody else was
center. Most guys wind up in the fence, oversteering that truck across the bumps.
They drive out of it too much, right? They put too much wheel in it, and
the way these trucks feel out there when they hit the bumps, the suspension's really stiff. So when it kicks out really, really quick. And the first reaction is to steer into it really quick, and you oversteer it a tick, and you wind up in that fence. That was a really, really, really good save by Brian Zimmerman right there. Most of these guys would be in the fence trying to save that truck right there.
As we're already 26 laps into tonight's event, and I'm seeing trucks fishtailing down the straightaways now. Not just on corner exit. We're talking middle of the straightaway, start finish line. They're still catching these trucks. So they are really, really starting to face the tight looseness now. I say all that. Dana Sweat's right here pacing our race leader, Brandon Elvis. Last time by, fastest truck on the track was the 07 of Sweat. Looking to make a move over the 54 here. Trying to look underneath him here. Now, we've seen people get loose on that low line. And you see the momentum Elvis had on the high side right there, too. Was able to defend it. But I believe Sweat may be a tad faster here.
Yeah, Sweat's definitely getting to the throttle quicker off the corners. He's sitting there waiting for a mistake. He showed the nose there, and he looked like he was going to make a move. But he's really trying to get Brandon Elvis to make a mistake. He's not really looking for that move yet. He knows he's a little quicker. He's just waiting for Brandon to hit a bump or get in there a little bit squirrely, and he's going to pounce down to the bottom. Sweat looks a little looser than Elvis off the corner, so it tells me he's putting a little more throttle to it. But, you know, who knows who's going to prevail on tires? Does that hurt your truck, or does that help your truck turn late in the run?
Right, is the 07 using a little bit too much tire right now? Is 54 kind of pacing him, you know, playing cat and mouse? Chris, you've led a lot of laps, you know. When you're the leader, you're not trying to turn your fastest laps, right? You're just trying to turn fast enough laps. And maybe that's what Elvis is doing right now, but Elvis opened up the gap a little bit. Look how much deeper Sweat is driving it in. He is attacking these corners a lot harder than our race leader, Brandon Elvis, is right now currently.
He's also running a lower line. He's kind of diamonding the track where Elvis is running the line that I like to run here, a little higher. I feel like I'm scrubbing off the right front if I diamond the track like the 07 truck is. But to me here, it's really, really about how you get the truck pointed to get to the throttle and not use up the tires. And both of these guys are doing a good job. I mean, Sweat is looking smooth through the middle, but you can see now he's starting to pay the price of the right rear a little bit.
He almost lost that truck. You heard him. He dumped completely out of the throttle there, just basically hoping and praying for that moment to finally grab grip, and it did finally for him. And that's allowed the 54 to get a little bit of real estate. Now they have a battle going on, heating up for P3. Throw a blanket over the 4 trucks battling it out for P3. Right now, Justin Coleman is the man with the advantage. But Wellman, the wild man, he is looking underneath. And now we know Wellman, he's a little hot-tempered, right? He'll get behind somebody like this and race a few laps and start getting agitated and start getting flustered a little bit, right? And that's when mistakes happen. So if I'm in the 42s here right now, I'm telling you, just calm down. If you're faster, you'll get around, right? But I mean, it's that racehorse mentality. We're always trying to go. We always think we gotta go.
I think the smartest thing for Wellman to do is to see if Coleman is catching the leaders. If Coleman's not catching the leaders, you got to make the move and try and get after him. But I mean, if he's catching the leaders, I mean, hang out here. Wellman's looking a little sideways up off the corner. He's really getting to that throttle, and I think he's paying the price in the right rear. You get it hot here, and it takes 4 or 5 laps to cool it down.
Looks like he's sacrificing his exit too each and every lap because he's driving in pretty deep, and he's also running a little bit lower line. Of course, he's going to go a little bit higher this time by, but he's running a little bit lower line, and like you said, that really does over time really start to affect the right front. You'll start to get tight. And somebody else I'm noticing back here, Brian Zimmerman, look like he's struggling a little bit. Almost topped the wall a little bit. Oh, the 80 truck. Everybody's struggling. Never mind. I mean, everybody is sideways out here. Holy cow.
I think Zimmerman's backed it down. I think he's running smooth now. He's understood that you can only go so far on the throttle. I think you'll see Zimmy on the long run. He looks straighter than everyone else. I think you'll see him on the long run slowly make his way back up there. He learned his lesson getting on the throttle too hard there.
Man, 2 laps ago, he was all but in the wall. Like, I don't know how he kept it out of the wall. He just jumped out of the throttle, right? He is making his way back up towards the front now. Currently holding down P5, but still, all Brandon Elvis out front. Daniel Sweat. They started 1-2 except reverse order. They're still running 1-2.
Sweat's looking really impressive here. And we're not talking about Coleman. He's sneaking up on these guys too. So, I mean, we got to race for the lead. And if they start racing for the lead, Coleman's going to be right in there. We're going to have a three-car battle for the lead.
Coleman has reeled them in. He's definitely fished them in. And, I mean, something we noticed a while ago, Wellman has not. Now look at the real estate in between him and third place. From a while ago, you could have put a blanket over top of him. That's how quick things change here at Nashville.
Those tires get hot here, and that truck gets really loose. It's difficult to hang on to. Once you've upset those tires, you got to let them cool off, and I think Wellman has to do that. He's got to try not to. Slower is faster right now, I think, in these trucks. The way they're coming up off the corner and the way you see them spin the tires, you can see him really struggling on exit. And I think he's got to just let that right rear cool down and settle down a little bit here, and he'll be all right.
I feel like my pick, Mr. Chris Smith back here, kind of lurking, just watching these two in front. He was right up there bumper a while ago. Looked like he kind of backed off a little bit. He also got loose himself. I mean, it's impressive, though, that they're able to go out here and they're able to attack the track as hard as they are and not loop it, right? I mean, they're on, about 15 lap green flag run here, 15, 20 laps, something like that. So
yeah, you could bet they're thinking about pit stops already. We're
Absolutely.
20 to 25 laps away from pit stops, and you know, these guys are, this entire run, they've been learning a lesson on how to drive this truck, and we're going to see who adjusts in the second run here to go for the win, too.
Something we ain't had to talk about all night because Nashville is a tick bigger than most short tracks. But we got to talk about it now. Lap traffic out the front windshield of our race leader. Has not had anybody out in front of him except the pace truck all night. Well, now he's coming up on Mr. Ron Judd, RJ in the 14. Kind of caught him at an awkward spot right there too, Carol. Had to jump out of the throttle. That's never how you want to make a pass on a lap down guy, right? But that's just the way the cookie crumbled. That's why he caught him right then. Going to see if he can maybe catch, I believe that's Rennick out the windshield. Is that Rennick or is that Chris Sawyer? Who is that up there? That is Chris Sawyer. So excuse me, Rennick for that. So gotta be careful passing lap traffic here tonight for sure. Because one mistake like that, push tight on them at all, even though they're giving you the lane, and before you know it, you're both in the outside wall.
Yeah, especially at this point, they're starting to slide around. They're starting to really push in the middle, and you know that push loose at this point in the run. Those tires are hot. They're angry, and you can one mistake and you're in the wall. Your night's over. We saw that with Danik. Danik is a hell of a driver. You know, you don't see him make mistakes like that very often. So it tells us how difficult these trucks are to drive, especially as the tires get on in the run.
You know, they're starting to become a handful. Next time by is going to be lap 50. This race was only supposed to be 100 laps. Me and Brandon talked earlier today, and got it changed to 125. That's our normal crooked line distance for these short tracks, but that's just enough laps really to flip a race on its head, I believe. You can really see the comers and goers with a little bit longer style race like that when it comes to tire wear and stuff like that. I'm still curious over Sweat here. Has Sweat used it up trying to stay there with Elvis, or is he just kind of riding? Because they have, last two times around that I've noticed it, they are matching lap times verbatim. This time by, Sweat was a couple hundreds faster. I mean, he's right there within the pace of Brandon Elvis, but Brandon Elvis has that the golden ticket of what we call clean air on the front of that nose right now too.
Clean air here is also
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
I raced this track many times, and my car feels bad, and I get out front, and I'm like, wow, this thing's turning. So we got green flag pit stops happening already.
I don't know.
Smith hit the pits.
Is this a scheduled stop? Does he think this thing is going to stay green? My pick brings it down pit road here. Now you just got to pray that the caution don't fly. You pit early like this, you're really trying to make up a lot of time on them leaders. But you're going to lose 2 laps here, so they have to pit under green too, or the strategy is just null and void. A gas call only.
For the 80. Fuel only. That is, I mean, this, if we have green flag laps starting here, this is going to determine the track position at the end of this race right now, mid-race. It's going to be interesting to see if guys take 4, 2. I mean, none apparently is a option, right? So
why come in early for fuel unless maybe they calculated fuel wrong earlier? Remember, they told us about 65 laps for fuel earlier, right? And they've had a few cautions. That's about 15 laps early there, Carol. Not that I'm questioning the call. I wish I had a ear to the ground to hear what made that call. Now, if more drivers start electing to go down pit road, we know, hey, they may have calculated fuel a little wrong, right? And if we start,
we all know iRacing lies to us too.
Absolutely.
We don't know sometimes. I ran out of fuel the other night going for a win, but you know, it could be that you know, Smith decided, well, I'm going to save my tires for late in the race. I'm just going to take fuel, and these guys are all going to pit behind me. Maybe I can get some open track and make up that ground that I'm behind the leaders. Like that may be the call of the race right there. He might know something that nobody else knows. So
it did.
This is the most interesting part of the race right here when all this starts to happen.
It's a chess. They're playing chess out here with race cars because, well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. He has open track now in front of him. Earlier, he had Zimmerman and Wellman, Coleman all right there in front of him. Now he has clean track, nothing in front of him now, right? He's probably turning some of his best, most consistent laps now. That could be the call of the race. He just does not need that caution to fly before the field cycles.
The other thing is, it's really hard to get on pit road here. So that's going to determine, some guys are going to be making mistakes, other guys are going to hit it perfect. And, you know, the track position at the end is king. We know that. We've seen it all night. It's hard to pass. That 80 truck might have just made the greatest call in the race right there. That could be it.
It may have been a big brain move right then. I mean, I was a little, I'll be honest, but I did not see the truck get jacked up for tires there. I've never really heard of short pitting for fuel, right? I've heard of short pitting for tires, but there could be method to the madness out here. He does have clean track now, and hate to tell you, last time by, fast truck on the track, 80 truck, Chris Smith. This time by,
Air to the 80 truck, wide open. He's trying to make up that ground.
fastest truck on the track that time by, the 80 truck, Chris Smith. So I think jokes on Tanner, the commentator, for questioning the call, right? I can admit when I'm wrong. Absolutely.
I'm interested to see what these guys do behind them.
Right.
So if these guys take, say, 2 tires, right? You got a guy like Zimmerman in 5th or Coleman in 3rd trying to, jump the leaders. Where do they come out, and how do those tires combat the no tires late in this race? I mean, we see Coleman inching up on them, and then he fell back. We see Zimmerman slowly picking him down one lap at a time. Now, this is going to determine the race right here, Tanner. What these guys do on this pit stop, and we'll see what that 80, how good or bad that call is. But the 80 truck is definitely out and away quick.
Kind of right on board with the 28 of Brian Zimmerman here, as Sweat taking his truck down pit road here. Look at the pace difference there. You go from riding on board on the track, and I promise you, Carol, when you're driving down this pit road, it's a lonely sight, especially like this, right? You're going so slow. My whole point of this is very, very easy to get a penalty, or very easy to miss your pit box. Sweat got in and out really good. Going to see what he does here. He's taking right side. So I wanted to ask that, right? These are NASCAR trucks, so they're doing about a 14, 15 second pit stop usually, correct? As now our race leader's coming down pit road. I want to show you something really quick, see if I can get to it. Look at this pit road. That did no justice there. Very tough pit road. But anyways, my point, Carol, about 15 second stop. Chris Smith went down pit road and had a 7-second stop, but no tires, right? Daniel Sweat took 4 tires. And so now what we got to wait and see, what's the difference between them two on the track? Can Sweat drive down Chris Smith here? Who's going to come out the leader?
Big gap. What, 50 something laps to go, and 8 seconds is a big gap. How much of those tires are going to gain him? And what's Brian Zimmerman going to do here?
Right.
Does he know they took 2 and none? And Zimmy's predominantly a 2-tire guy.
I look for the 28. Yeah, I look for the 28 take 2. Now, maybe if we were under caution, he may elect to take 4 sometimes, but even still, 2 tires. I look for him under green, take 2 tires. And now Mitchell Mooma's down pit road. So fuel is, Mitchell Mooma. Carol, did you see what I saw there?
I saw it. That tire barrier is in play tonight. It is a nasty pit road to get on.
Look at that. That's a true testament to this pit road, and that's pretty significant damage right there to the radiator of that truck, by the way.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for Mooma there. That's a tough break, but any one of these guys can do that. I mean, I'm expecting a couple of them to clip that. I've come in here sideways a few times and had pee running down my leg. It's a scary pit road to hit.
I've hit that tire before. Not like, now that one was pretty, like, he locked the tires up and got into it, right? I feel him on that. I feel for him. But I've kissed it. I've slapped it when you kind of slide it in there, right? It's definitely happened. All right, so it looks like Wildman and Zimmerman, your last 2 that have not elected to come down pit road yet.
I think, thinking about this situation for Zimmerman, I think he has to take 2. I don't think he's going to make that ground to back up with none. I think being in 3rd or 4th or 5th there, coming to the pits, I think he has to take 2. The options are open for Smith there. That was a pretty smart move, I think. And we got a few other guys. So
it's cycled now for the ones that had pits. Sweat actually ended up jumping past Chris here, and now he's on the back bumper of Elvis. As something actually happened to Elvis. Elvis has scored. Constant track. Mitchell Mooma went around right in front of Elvis. Elvis has scored 3 laps down, by the way.
And now he has damage as well. That's a tough night for him.
I think may have been a penalty or something out of the 54 truck. Well, we got to go back and see what happened on this caution. And I got to check one more thing. Brian Zimmerman's still out on track, by the way. Everybody else is a lap down.
Like a genius here. I think he's got everybody a lap down here.
But now they will get the wave around, right? When he passes, right? When he goes to pit. Because he's got a pit, surely to God. Let's go back and see what happened on the wreck, though, first. Mitchell moving 98. He's probably pushing here, right? Not happy. Just got in the tire barrier just a second ago. Brake bias.
Low brake or low air pressure as well. These
Yep.
trucks for 2 laps, two
Ooh.
laps out of the pits are really, really
Ooh.
free, and I think he's a victim of that right there.
I want to see something really quick here.
There's more than one spin. We're riding with Sawyer right here. There's a spin behind him and a spin in front of him. He's probably looking in the mirror, looks up, other guy spun out the top of the track.
That's
Really tough to see that truck with the A-post, too. It looks like he didn't hit the brakes.
That's how tough it happens here. I mean, that's how quick it happens, right? And he's on the high side already. He can't get the truck to turn down. He's trying. Look at his wheel. He's trying. Just can't.
He's committed, and you see it late with that A-post. The way the A-post works at this track with that banking, it's really hard to see around that corner. That's tough break there for Sawyer. That's his line. He likes around the top here,
Right.
and unfortunately, usually it's a self-clearing track. Not tonight. Moon was up at the top of the track, spun out.
Let's get this ticker up right here to see, because this will help us determine who's not a lap down. Looks like Zimmerman, Sweat, Coleman, Smith, Murphy. Man, Elvis. I hate not knowing what happened to the 54 truck, but I mean, I gotta think a penalty, right? I mean, that's what I gotta think.
3 laps, it's a lot. That's a long penalty. Maybe.
Well, I mean,
I'm
you
not
gotta
sure
think,
what-
go down pit road, and then you gotta enter pit road again and do like a pass through for maybe a blue cone violation.
Well, 40-second penalty would equal out to about 3 laps.
Right.
That could be it for sure.
Right. I mean, it's
We've all got that 40-second penalty coming to the pits on iRacing.
just got one on Sunday, man. I was so mad. So mad.
Profanity-laced tirade.
I don't. You know, I'm conservative on pit road, and I did it to myself. I was going 55 and a 50, and I did it for like 3 boxes without even realizing it. Just sitting there, it's beeping at me the whole time, and I'm sitting there just lollygagging around, just going 55.
Well, I mean, you can call it conservative. I'd call you a chicken. But
Right.
when you're running down that pit road, though, all jokes aside, you're thinking about the rest of the race sometimes, and you go over a couple miles an hour. What am I going to do in the next stop? When am I going to pit? Or where's everyone else running? What do I want to do here? And then all of a sudden, beep, beep, it's game over. You got a speeding penalty.
Right. As it looks like some just got the waiver on there, so we'll find out the running order for certain when they go back green here. Yeah, it's scoring Kyle Wellman currently a lap down, but I don't believe he's going to be scored a lap down. Look at all the guys on the inside lane though. This is a product of wave around cars and everything. You're not going to have a whole lot of double file. Looks like about 3 rows of them. Then it's going to be single file on back. We're still waiting on
So
everybody.
that's telling me there's only 4 guys in the lead lap.
We'll
We
let
got a
race.
bit of a discrepancy here. We can hear him talking in the chat. There's something going on with iRacing and the laps.
The way it fell, I mean, a lot of people are going to be trapped a lap down strictly off because Zimmy did not pit, right? There'd be about 5 cars that get the wave around because they were going to be in front of Zimmy whenever he came out of pits. I don't know.
iRacing definitely messed up the order because Sweat was running second. I can hear him on the radio talking, and he was running second, and now iRacing's put him in 4th. Can't blame him. He's a little upset for that, but something went wrong with the lineup there when Zimmy trapped him all a lap down.
We see it happen so often, right? iRacing is a great service. It really is. We don't have a whole lot of complaints out of it. But if a caution comes out and there's green flag pit stops underway, you can almost for certain guarantee it. That order's gonna be screwed up in some way or fashion.
Yeah, they're sorting it out here. I can hear the chat. I don't know if they're going to delay this or not, but they're trying to sort it out here. That's a tough one. Admitting, we know this. Admitting and racing at the same time is never easy.
Looks like they're gonna let this one go. Are they gonna stay green with it? Really or not? They might. Looks like they are. I mean, they're racing. Saw Brian Zimmerman out front. USA Firearms.
They're throwing the caution.
There's the caution. Well, I hate to tell them, but you had a few people gain a few spots back here.
Yeah, they're discussing it on the radio right now.
Saw a couple jumping spots that my admin flag started going off a little bit. I'm just glad I'm just a broadcaster now. It's hard. It is. You're 100% of the time you're not always going to be right if you're admin from the car, right? They're going to try to do the best they can, but this is what happens. Well, folks, we're going to pay the bills really quick while they do this. We're going to throw it over to Southern Shores Realty. We will be back in just a moment.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern.
All right.
Well, Tanner, we've had a shakeup in the order here. Zimmerman out front, he didn't pit. He had the lead. iRacing definitely made a mistake. They jumbled up the order here. This is going to shake this race up on its head with 40 to go, my man.
Looks like it's gonna be Zimmerman, Coleman, Murphy, Sweat, and Voss is your top five. Only 8 trucks, on the lead lap here. I mean, that's what happens, right? Caution comes out while people are pitting under green flag stance here. I mean, it can really, really, really screw up the running order. Luckily, our race admins, they have got it sorted out to the best of their ability now. Now it's just go time. You've got under 40 laps to go here at Nashville. They're clicking off laps at about 18, 19 seconds per lap. You blink, you'll miss it. So stay tuned, folks, as we're getting ready to go back green flag racing. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. As Carol, call this restart for us here.
Well, you got Zimmy on the top. He's taking him to the top, coming to the green flag here. And I'm interested to see what that 114 does behind him. He's got a really good restart. Everyone got a good restart there. Good, clean restart. We got to watch Daniel Sweat, too. He's going to be feeling a little pressured. He's been running second all night. He's running fourth. Oh, there he goes. Bottom of the track, under the 29 for third place here. We got, 40 laps to go here, and he's got to go. It's go time for the 7. 29, gives him a little room there. That was nice. I think he's on newer tires. And who do you got for a pick with 40 to go here?
I'm gonna stick with my pick. Although he is running back here in 7th, he is scored on the lead lap. I'm gonna stay with the 80 truck of Mr. Chris Smith.
Well, we know your pick's got tires. We know Zimmerman's got tires. A few other guys. And Coleman's got some pressure on Zimmerman here, and I think Sweat's licking his chops here now. He feels good about, taking that third spot, and he's got a shot to win still here, even with that error in iRacing. So this is going to be interesting, Tanner. I can't wait to see it.
So it looks like Daniel Sweat came down at lap 63 for 4 tires. Justin Coleman came down at lap 64, 4 tires. Brian Zimmerman came down at 74 for 4 tires. So Zimmerman does have the tire advantage right now. The only other driver that scored on the lead lap with 4 tires would be my pick, Chris Smith. But now, remember, he probably did just take his 4 tires because he took no tires earlier, right?
Yeah, he had no tires on that green flag pit stop. So we know Zimmerman's got tires. We know the 80's got tires. I wonder about Coleman in second there. And what can you do to combat that if Zimmerman's got better tires than you?
You're looking at a 10-lap difference between tires here, but now, mind you, there were some caution laps between that, right? Had a little mix-up with the running order, so that added a few caution laps onto that. They may be essentially on the same tires, basically. Maybe a lap or two difference between them. I mean, we'll know in the next 10 or so laps if Coleman starts falling back, right? Because they hit that cliff and start falling off. But right now, he is matching our leader's pace with Mr. Brian Zimmerman. I'm still watching the 07 right now. I know he's got to be driving a little mad. Maybe got hosed a little bit with all that deal. He was either second or third, but restarted fourth. So as a driver, you naturally start to get, I'll say it, pissed off, right, in the truck. So we're going to see what the 07 can do if he can battle back. And I'm also watching the wild man, Mr. Kyle Wellman. He's on fresh rubber, but looks like a two-tire call for the 42 truck.
Yeah, that 42's coming. He's going to get some pressure on the 07 here, and we got a race for the win here. The guys up front get racing. He's going to bring these guys right back into it. We got a really good battle for the lead. We got a really good battle for third and fourth. Man, this is shaping up to be a race.
The second these front two start battling it out, if they get side by side even for 2 or 3 laps, that's going to allow Sweat, Wellman, and Brian, all three, to get up there. So the top 5 could be right there. Throw a blanket over them, right? That's what they want to see. But now Zimmerman, he likes seeing this mirror have a little bit of real estate, a little bit of concrete or blacktop between him and the second place truck of Coleman. But I am noticing right here, they're running essentially the same line. They're almost tit for tat every lap around this track. This time Coleman's a little higher. Why? Because I said something. If I didn't say anything, they would have been the exact same. So it looks like
I think Coleman is trying to search for a line to get that power to the ground to get to Zimmerman. I've seen him run Zimmerman's line a few times, and he's like, well, it looks to me like Zimmy's a little bit better pointed off the corner. I think Coleman's using a little bit more throttle, a little bit more right rear, and Zimmerman seems to be pointed. So I think right when you said that, he was changing his line to try and find a way to get pointed to get to Zimmerman off the corner.
Searching over the track, right? Now, he's not going to go to the high side because he knows Nashville, we want to be on the low side, but he is searching. He's attacking at different angle points every single lap, and that's exactly what he's doing, trying to find whatever place he can hit those four tires to make him have the most grip, driving straight off that corner.
He's a little deeper into the corner than Zimmerman, too. I'm wondering if he's really pushing here, trying to get Zimmy to make a mistake and get the lead now, or whether he's trying to push Zimmerman to use up those tires. But he's definitely searching around the track for a line, so that tells me he's pushing pretty hard.
I'm going to do a little comparison here. I wish we'd go side-by-side comparison with them in the cockpit. We're right on board with second place, Justin Coleman right here. And then whenever we get to the start-finish line, we'll switch over to our race leader, Brian Zimmerman, just see what they're doing different. Coleman's not working the wheel a whole lot, but he is trying to catch it. He's having to catch it every little bit. Zimmy looked like he's putting a little bit more wheel into it right there. But perhaps a little smoother off. We're going to watch him out of turn 4 here.
Yeah, Zimmy's running a really smooth line there. He's really pointed nice up off the track. I like the line he's running there. It's keeping that truck, in check, and he can get to that throttle really well on exit. It seems that Coleman is beating him into the corner, and Zimmerman is getting a little better drive off.
If you notice right in the middle of the corner, though, Zimmy does like he's having to wait a little bit longer to get the truck rotated, and I can see it because look at the orange tape. It disappears right here, right? You don't see it because he's really trying to get that truck pointed off. Now let's jump on board with Coleman and see if he's having to put the same amount of wheel into it here.
They're pretty close.
They're both having to crank it. So that tells me, I mean, that truck, even fresh tires, old tires, it don't matter. It's still going to be tight in the center of the corner, right? So they're both having to battle that.
I'm really loving that in-car to see what they're both doing. And we're not talking about it, but that 07 of Sweat is sneaking up on him here. Whether he is using those tires up now to get after him or whether he is just riding, he's slowly creeping up on those two guys. We're going to have a three truck race for the lead here, Tanimar.
So he is the cat chasing the mouse right now as he got loose right there. Let's jump on board with Sweat, our third place. And
he's running that thing hard, boy.
Let's see what he's doing differently.
It's go time for Daniel Sweat with 20 to go in third place here. Older tires. It's time to go for him. He's pushing.
Definitely sounds and looks as if he's driving it in. Not a lot deeper, but a click or two deeper, right? He's going in. Oh, second place, Justin
Wow.
Coleman. Got really loose there. We got to go back, get an onboard
Great
shot
save,
of
Tanner.
that.
That's a great save here.
But
Wow, that's a driver right there.
I want you to hear something here, folks at home. You hear he's on the throttle. He don't want to get off the throttle because he knows it's going to be slower. But it got to a point where he had to. He realized, he was like, okay, I'm spinning my wheels literally here by staying the throttle. Jumps off the throttle, grabs grip, there he goes. But now that's allowed Sweat to get right there, not right to his back bumper, but really close, and that allowed Zimmerman to basically have a nice, comfortable gap between him and second place now.
Yeah, Zimmerman's feeling really good here, just hoping no caution. And we got Voss. You know, we haven't talked about the 55, Tanner. 55 is running a good, clean race in fourth place there. I don't think under green flag he's going to catch Zimmerman for the lead or these guys, but what a clean drive from him. And Wellman, he's got those new tires too. So these guys are running a good race back here in the top 5 as well. We had some real shakeups in this race, and they got through it, and they're getting a good, clean race in.
As we're riding on the rear bumper of Brian Zimmerman here. As a driver who's out front 15 laps to go, there's not a better feeling when you see the guy behind you make a mistake like that, and it rewards you with a second gap, because now Zimmy can kind of relax, not have to watch the mirror as close, right? Basically watching out front, but you cannot start to be too relaxed, because if you are, before you know it, just going to be right back on your bumper, right? But that little slip up from Coleman, that could have decided the fate of this race here, as he now has about a second gap in between him and our race leader, Mr. Brian Zimmerman.
Yeah. For Zimmerman right now, now's the time to focus, because you know Coleman's a wheelman. At this point, he's going to be pushing that truck to the brink, right? And if you go to the brink, it's a possibility you could make a mistake.
Right.
So he's just trying to stay smooth and solid, you know, not get the truck out of shape and make Coleman come and get him. But you know Coleman, he's going to be up on that wheel. He's either going to be there or in the fence. So, I mean, this is what it's going through Zimmerman's brain. And the 7 truck, he's thinking, boys, get at it. Coleman, get up there and get racing. And
That's what he wants. He wants. And, hey, the 55 truck, he was over 2 seconds back a while ago from second place Coleman. He is now only half a second back off of third place Daniel Sweat. So Voss is coming. He is coming in a 55 truck. I don't think the time is there for him to get to Zimmerman without a caution. But, I mean, he may be looking at a podium here. Sweat's got to be mistake-free here, as I believe Derek Stanley coming down for an unscheduled pit stop. Did he not calculate the fuel right?
Yeah, he might have been flustered earlier with that pit road entrance and maybe not got everything right. But I am really impressed with the 55 of Voss. He is looking, I think he's the fastest truck on the track right now.
Where the hell did he come from? Like, where'd he come from?
He's been hanging out there
Right.
for a long time, and all of a sudden, you know, he's got speed. And he's got speed to catch second and third for sure. With a caution, he's got a shot of the win.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so it's tough to pass here. He does need a caution pretty quick. He cannot afford to click off very many more laps and then have a caution fly. But even without a caution, he's sniffing at a podium, and Coleman is kind of on the struggle bus right now. I hate that for him, because he got loose that one time, and just ever since then the truck's been wicked loose. Cannot get the tire temps down, right? I mean, and he don't have a whole lot of time. He can't really back it down, right? Because if he backs it down too far, he's in the clutches of Daniel Sweat. So 7 laps.
These boys in front of the 55 are fixing to go racing, and he is licking his chops. He's got his fork and he's got his knife out on his dinner plate. He's looking for 2 spots here.
I think he smells blood in the water. I really do. When you catch a group that fast, now the laps are winding down, but when you do catch a group that fast out in front of you over the course of a 15, 20 lap run, as a driver, you naturally think, okay, if they burnt their stuff up, it's go time, right? I mean, that's just what we think. And, I mean, he reeled them in really quick, but I have noticed here, he hasn't really got any closer than that half a second gap there. So maybe the 07 and 114 both made a significant mistake and allowed Voss to get there. I don't know, but been in the top 5 all night and now trying to get up there and take a podium away from one of these two
There we go, a battle for third place. Sweat up underneath the 114 of Coleman. Now we got the 55. He is licking his chops. He's like, come on, boys, give me 2 spots. And you got Zimmerman cruising out front now. Those tires are really showing
There's
up on the long run. But
two drivers that love to see second and third battle. That's Brian Zimmerman and that's Brian Voss. Both of them. I mean, they both love seeing it. And even throw in Kyle Wellman, right? Because although he's not in striking distance with 3 laps to go, these two of Coleman and Sweat get duking it out too much. They may get together and wreck, right? And that may be a free spot for you there. 2 free spots.
I like free spots, and I cannot lie. That's what Wellman's thinking.
Right.
Going out the
As
corner.
07 got to the inside of the 114, Coleman gave him plenty of room, but just you see the low line. It may be the preferred lane, but white flag out in the air. It is just so hard to get off the corner. It's all
55 big loose. What a save.
What a save by Voss there, but it's all Mr. Brian Zimmerman. 125 laps here tonight. It came and went really fast out of turn number 4 for the final time tonight. Mr. USA Firearms.com putting him in victory lane once again on TrueSimProductions. Mr. Brian Zimmerman picks up the race win here tonight. Justin Coleman came into tonight the points leader. Left Nashville P2, so that's always a good night. Excuse me, I am incorrect. He is not the points leader. Daniel Sweat was the points leader, and he brought home P3. Let me pull the points up really quick, Carol, just so I know for certain. Daniel Sweat came in with a 1-point lead over Brandon Elvis. Justin Coleman, who finished P2, he is 6 points behind Sweat. So instead, him got scratched away a little bit at the lead. With only 2 races remaining, folks, it's going to get hot and heavy for the All-Star Racing League Points Championship.
I'm looking to pull these guys up into the booth, and the only one I see in here is Brian Zimmerman.
They're in a other channel. I'll have to get them. I'll get them up. So our third place finisher was Mr. Daniel Sweat. So see if we can get him down here. I'll give
What
you.
was impressive out there tonight?
I'll give you the honors. But Mr. Sweat is in here. He's all yours, Chris Carroll.
Daniel Sweat. You got Tanner Marr and Chris Carroll up in the TSP booth. Do you got a copy?
What's going on, fellas?
You were impressive out there tonight. That's what's going on. I thought you had a shot to win there. Walk us through the race and walk us through what happened on that, the problem with iRacing under the caution there.
Yeah, man. I'd be lying to you boys if I said I wasn't a little upset, but it happens. You know, it wasn't nobody's fault. It's just an iRacing deal. Basically, we were cycling through. I pit way early, trying to play a little strategy, and I think I was going to inherit the lead once Zimmy pitted, but the caution came out right before he was going in, and it gave me a lucky dog, so it kept wanting to put me all the way behind all the lap cars there, which, like I say, I mean, that's just an iRacing deal. It happens. But
We've all been there.
I tried to get back up there, man.
Oh, we saw it. That truck was moving. You were impressive out there. You had a real shot to win tonight, regardless of how that turned out. But when you were chasing Zimmerman for the lead, did you have to save some tire to get after him? Because we all knew he had the newest tires. What was your game plan there, chasing Zimmerman down for the lead?
Oh, well, the first run there, I tried to just really maintain Elvis's pace when he had the lead, and I think we were both tire saving, trying to just make it as far as we could on fuel. And after that pit stop, I'll be honest, I wasn't saving anything. I was kind of driving a little hot-headed.
I called it.
You know,
I called
you
it.
know, just a little upset, but hey, you know, you'll have that in big time auto racing, I guess, boys, huh?
Right, absolutely.
You were really impressive out there. Go ahead, Tanner. Sorry.
It was very, very impressive. I know, kind of got screwed by the whole way the caution fell. I definitely think you had the lead once it cycled, right, because of the way it fell with your tire call and stuff like that. But still, overall, Sweat, you came into tonight the points leader. Justin Coleman was 6 points behind you, and he only finished 1 spot ahead of you, right? So did not really hemorrhage a lot of points. Had a great points night. Who we got to thank for those 7, brother?
I want to thank you guys first, TrueSimProductions. Chris, you know, he's jumping in the booth with you. I'm sure that's pretty awesome. Every time he's been in there before, done an awesome job. But Yeah, you Tanner and Sam, y'all do a great job with the broadcast. All my Bad Company Racing teammates, we're trying hard in these league races, man. I think it's showing. We run good together. We work well together, and I think we're gaining pace. So, uh, all of them especially, and like I say, man, Brandon Elvis for putting the league on.
Right on, buddy. Well, Bad Company Racing, Bad Company's Good Company. We coined it last week. Congratulations on the top 3, and we'll get you back down to your race team. Let's celebrate, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, boss.
Hey, Tanner, you got me?
Yeah, so I'm glad we got you here. What the hell happened to you before we even talked to anybody else? What'd you do?
I sped on pit road.
Okay, so we were trying to figure out what the penalty was that you got. It had to be something, but we didn't know. We missed it.
It's the 40 longest seconds I've ever had on here.
Carol called that, by the way. He said that 40-second hold is the longest that you'll ever experience.
Oh my goodness! Then the caution came out. Then I was trapped 2 laps down. There wasn't nothing I could do after that.
Yeah, that's Heartbreak City. That's a heartbreak. Well, Elvis, let's talk to you anyway since you're already up here. You had the dominant truck for the first portion of the night. Sped down pit road, sadly. Talk us through your night before that though. Looked bad fast out there.
Oh yeah, man. I was just trying to kind of roll to center a little bit longer than everybody else. I know Daniel was kind of eating me up getting in and through the center. Luckily, he had a couple chances to stick his nose in there, but it was just trying to be disciplined. Then I stepped on it. Absolutely. I pinned myself 2 laps down there, speeding on pit road, and Zimmy played his cards right like he does every single week.
Hey, when it comes to fuel and stuff like that, man, it's annoying, ain't it?
Man, he's got a horseshoe somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
Elvis.
but no, real quick, give you a points update. Daniel is still the leader by 4 points. He's got 4 points on Brian Voss, and Coleman's third, and I fell down to 4th, and Chris Smith rounds out the top 5.
Right. So, I don't know if we're broadcasting it. I think you need to have your final 2 races broadcast, whether it's Sam or I, just because of points battle. I've never seen it shake out this close to where you have 5 people legit within striking distance to win the championship, right? So 2 races remaining after tonight. Give me the top 5 one more time.
Yeah, you got Daniel Sweat, Brian Voss, Coleman, Justin Coleman, and me in 4th, and Chris Smith in 5th. And then you got man, we've had 4 races and 4 different winners, so
Right.
it's anybody's game.
Right. So how many separate the top 5 from 1st to 5th?
Well, you got Daniel Sweat's got 140, and it's 4 points back to Brian Voss. 1 point behind that is Coleman, and 2 points behind that is me. And then 4 points behind that is Chris Smith. So you're looking at 11 points.
11 points, right. I was trying to do the redneck math as you were adding it right there. 11 points, bro. So where we head next week, Brandon? And we're going to close up shop.
Next week, we're at New Smyrna, and then we finish out the season at North Wilkesboro.
Well, right on, folks. So we got to talk to Mr. Justin Coleman. Who we got to thank, Elvis, for we bring up 2nd place?
Oh, yeah, man. Just thank you guys for doing this for us. We really appreciate it, especially last minute like it is every week. And Bad Company Racing, these boys, man, it's a tough group of guys, man. And we're getting better and better each week. So I'm really proud of all of them. I'm thanking the drivers. It was a really clean race for the most part. I had a couple incidents there, nothing out of the ordinary. And Dalton and Rob, thanks for putting this thing on, guys.
Right on, brother. That's Mr. Brandon.
Sorry for taking up your airtime.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good. We're up here chilling. We're all good. Congratulations on the race. Sorry, didn't shake out the way it should have probably for the 54, but still bounce back night next week at New Smyrna.
Oh yeah, thanks, buddy. I'm gonna stay in here with you and listen on.
Right on, brother. Alrighty, then our 2nd place guy, Mr. Justin Coleman, the Gold Chain Cowboy. Is that the nickname, Coleman?
Yeah, that's it. Courtesy of Mr. Elvis here.
Right on. I thought I saw that on the spoiler, but I wasn't 100% sure. So, Coleman, I'm just going to give you the floor because you were very, very impressive late into the event. Kind of came on about the middle portion of the race. Once that caution flew, you were right there in the mix. You started P9, you finished P2. Talk me through your race, brother.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep my nose clean. Didn't get any practice, so that's the norm around here. But qualified mediocre. Worked away through the field and found herself third, and I was just kind of riding, trying to save a little bit of tire. And yeah, came in, took 4, and on that last restart, I cranked the rear brake to it, and I felt like I was a little faster than Zimmerman, but burnt the right rear up and just kind of held on to what I had. But it was fun. Setup was good, and it was a good race. I enjoyed it.
The setup looked to be real racy, and I can attest, like the eye test up here told me you were faster than Zimmerman the first 10 or so laps after that restart. But it looks like maybe the clean air on Zimmy's nose was just allowing him to basically put the truck wherever he wanted, right? And you had to enter based off him basically then. So that's always unfortunate, but still P2, hell of a points night for the 114, the Go Chain Cowboy. Who we got to thank for the 114?
Just the my sponsors first. I got Parker Brothers Window Tinting, Gibbs Brothers Construction, Barry Elvis Performance and Fabrication, B&H Homes, and all the boys at BCR. Can't ask for a better group of guys to race with. They're awesome, and of course y'all for coming in and broadcasting this, and Brandon putting on All Stars. It's a really good league to run in. A lot of clean guys, and it's real fun. So that's about it.
I don't even think you mentioned the most important one there, Go Chain. You didn't even talk about Coleman Designs. You paint all these boys' trucks out here. Damn near half the field of trucks have went through the Coleman Designs paint booth. So he kills it, folks. Check him out on Facebook. Well, Justin, man, congratulations on the P2. Hell of a points night for you. And we'll get you back down to your race team and let you celebrate. Bad company's good company. Second and third tonight, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, boss.
Later.
All right, folks, and then there was one. This man, you heard Brandon Neville say it a while ago. It's like he has a horseshoe when it comes to these fuel mileage, and he does it all off iRacing. I know that because I'm his teammate, right? I have a program that breaks it down. A monkey could read it, right? And I still mess it up. This man does it on iRacing and does it to a T. Chris Carroll, I'm going to allow you the floor to talk to Mr. Brian Zimmerman, driver number 28, Chevy Silverado.
Well, Tanner, I want this interview. Zimmy, impressive.
Zimmy.
Say that again.
No, I won't say it again.
Well, his name in the Discord is Brian Chrome Horn Zimmerman. Do you have a copy there, sir?
I got you, bud. How you tonight?
I wanted this interview out of all of them. You gotta. We saw you get loose up off the corner tonight early in the race, and you recovered. Was that truck loose all night? Was that a common theme out there tonight, Zim?
It was loose if you were trying to pinch it down off the corner and trying to get under someone. If you were running a regular line, it was good. But if you were ever trying to cut low off a corner, yeah, she'd want to step out on you. And I almost ended my night there down the front straightaway.
Almost died.
I almost died. I had to lock her down, get her straight. Gave up 3 or 4 spots. And the way the race was going, I thought I'd really thrown away my chance at a win. But yeah, definitely I started saving. I knew it was about 67 laps is what it was telling us on fuel. And I had practiced. I'd practiced during practice hour or happy hour. They were trying to enter Pick Road, and it was tricky. So I wanted there, and then taking 2 tires. I came out after taking 2, and I was very loose. So I was thinking I was going to let everybody pit if I could stay out longer. Unfortunately, it did come to be, but somebody coming out, I think they were on 2, and they got really loose and spun the car. But we had done that in practice, and I knew how loose it was going to be. So that was my strategy, try to stay out, just to see if everybody could get on and off pit road, and then make a couple laps with just rights without wrecking. And then we caught everybody with being a lap down. So that was really the move of the race, was just strategy of staying out a little bit longer than everybody.
Now, when you got loose up off the corner, I was screaming, "Don't wreck my paint job!" But then I didn't realize. I realized I didn't paint that truck. It's a little out of date. I think we got to get you a new one there. But I mean,
Yep.
great run out there, Zim. You, I mean, when I was looking at the race, your truck looked straighter than everyone else, and I noticed when you did get loose and you lost those spots, you were creeping back up there, and it looked to me like you had that truck pointed better than most guys. You just weren't up front to show it early, and once you did get up front, you did show it. So when you got up front, did the truck drive different than it did in traffic?
Yeah. Jetting out front, having clean air, coming off the corner, you could really get it straight quick and get on the throttle. No wheel spin out front. And be honest, it was pretty easy. Once you get out front and you can run consistent laps, it was pretty easy. It's hard to pass here. I had Justin; he's running me really clean behind me, and he stayed with me for a long time. But me having clean air and him not wore his tires out quicker. So it looked like I just drove away from him, but really it was just his tires went away after not having clean air. So made me look real good, but yeah, it's a lot of it's just being out front, having clean air, and that was the difference tonight. Once I got out front and had clean air, it was going to be hard for somebody to get around me.
Well, we are going to chalk up another race win for Brian Zimmerman here. He's starting to become a bit of a legend on here, Tanner Marr. We gotta find somebody that can beat him. But who do you got to thank on that truck tonight, Brian?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out. It's been I've run the 28 because Davey Allison was my favorite driver of all time, and 30 years ago this week, Davey had passed away in a helicopter crash when he got killed. So you want to dedicate this. I know it's kind of a little corny to people out there, but Davey meant a lot to me. He's been a big fan, so dedicate this win to him and his memory. And that's 3 in a row from me in the 28 car this week. So not much into stuff like that, but that is pretty cool. So shout out to the Allison family, great family of racing. And I'd like to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Andrew. He's always back watching, so I appreciate that. He's already texted me, so nice to know he's out watching. My wife, Amanda, and the kids, sometimes they'll tune in too, but appreciate y'all doing the broadcast. Thank Brandon Elvis for putting up this league and giving us an invite. Great bunch of drivers in here, real clean. So shout out to him. And especially TSP for broadcasting. So thank you for all y'all do.
I appreciate it, Zinni. I'll throw it back to Tanner Marr. He pays me in donuts, so if you want to go to Tim Hortons on your way home there, we can make that happen.
Sounds great.
He would go Tim Hortons, freaking Canadian. Well, folks, we've been here for not too long. It's been a really good race. I think took right about an hour and 20 minutes. So a good little distance race here. Was going to be 100 laps. Got a sweet talked old Brandon Elvis into changing 125. Brian Zimmerman took home the race win. Let's pull up our results tab, and then while we do that, Carol, give us your final thoughts on tonight's event here, the Bad Company Racing 125 live at the Fairgrounds.
I thought we saw a great race, man. We saw loose trucks on a tough track that had bumps. We had comers and goers. We had tons of twists and turns, and we saw a guy play the strategy to the win tonight. I mean, the top 5 were really impressive. I was really impressed with the league and how these guys drive clean, and a few cautions out there like you're going to get on a tough track, man. I thought the race was awesome.
I did too. Heartbreak for Mr. Brandon Elvis. He led the first, 50, 60 laps. It felt like more, maybe it was, but pit road penalty. I'm telling you, pitting on a green flag condition is the most nerve-wracking thing you can do, because you see that field just blowing your doors off out on the track, and you try to get everything you can. Ultimately, it bit to 54. Going to have a bounce-back week next week, but the points are heating up here in the All-Star Racing League. Shout out Premier Racing Setups for providing the setups for this series. And shout out to all the series sponsors, Coleman Designs, and all them guys. Thank y'all for tuning in as always. Hit the thumbs up button if you're still here. Headbutt it. Do whatever you want to do. Hit the subscribe button on the road to 500. And maybe we'll be back next week. If not, I'm sure we'll be back for the season finale for sure. But until next time, we'll see ya.